So you're thinking about making a move to North Idaho, and you've been checking online and looking at Coeur d'Alene, Idaho specifically, because that's really what pops up, the lake, all the things. It's kind of like the marketing, the PR of North Idaho. But once you dive into it a little bit, you start looking at homes online and seeing some beautiful new construction homes on 5-10 acres in a town called Rathdrum. What's Rathdrum all about? Well, today I'm going to dive into everything you need to know about Rathdrum, Idaho, why it is a fantastic spot if you're looking for new construction on acreage. We're going to jump into the map video, tell you a little bit about where you're located, and give you some inside information on what's being built out there. So if you're interested in being maybe 25-30 minutes out of Coeur d'Alene in a beautiful small town vibe, Rathdrum, Idaho might be for you. So let's take a look. All right, map time, guys. Connor Hammonds here with the Living CDA Realty Group. We are a full-time real estate group here in beautiful North Idaho. If you follow along, you know we do quite a bit of videos, but our number one job is working with clients and getting homes sold for buyers and sellers in North Idaho. We are the number one ranked team in the whole state of Idaho in terms of volume sold for our brokerage EXP, which is a very large brokerage in the state. In 2024, and so we spend some time doing these videos because we like to inform you about North Idaho, but most of our time we are dedicated to showing property, listing homes, negotiating deals for our buyers, and educating you about making the move to North Idaho when it's time to go. So reach out if you're kind of on the game plan of moving to North Idaho. We'd love to help you find the right spot, and we have a relocation guide, so we'd love to email that to you as well. But you got to reach out, call, text, or email us, get a hold of us, and we will set up a Zoom call, a phone call, just get you in the right strategy or game plan to find the right property and negotiate a good offer on your behalf and get you in that home here. So today, like I mentioned, we're going to take a look at Rathdrum, Idaho, give you all the ins and outs of living in Rathdrum, why people might love it, why people might not love it so much. It's much like the video I did in Post Falls, another city, kind of one of the main four in our local area surrounding Coeur d'Alene, right? You have Coeur d'Alene, you have Post Falls, then up north you have Rathdrum and Hayden, kind of make kind of a quadrant there. And then obviously you get further up north, you hit Athol, Spirit Lake, Blanchard, all the way up to Sandpoint. But today we're focusing on living in Rathdrum, Idaho. It, like Post Falls, is one of the fastest growing towns in our region, really in the whole state, for many of the same reasons that Post Falls is. There's a lot of land, a lot of prairie land, a lot of old farmland that new development is happening. I'm going to zoom out here. We're based here in Coeur d'Alene. That's where our office is. So I'm going to zoom out and show you kind of where we can navigate to get your way up to Rathdrum. So here we are. You would take I-90 going west and then Highway 41 up to Rathdrum, Idaho. All this land in between Post Falls and Rathdrum is converging little by little. I mean, it's not happening extremely fast, but there are neighborhoods that are creeping north from Post Falls and creeping south from Rathdrum. We'll get into that a little bit in terms of new construction and what you can find in this area. But a couple things to note is Rathdrum, like Post Falls, is on a full different school district. So it's the Lakeland School District, 272. It's going to be Lakeland High School, Lakeland Middle School. There's Timberlake High School as well, which is a little further up north. Timberlake is going to be here in Spirit Lake. So Lakeland High School is down here. Rathdrum is a cool little town. It's close in terms of commuting to Coeur d'Alene or Post Falls or getting to I-90, making your way over to the airport. So you're not too far away, but it does have a much smaller town feel. So a lot of times for clients who may not know about Rathdrum and come in to visit Coeur d'Alene and are like, we want to make the move to North Idaho, but we really are wanting and dreaming of being more of a very small town feel. We want to have the essentials, right? We want to have a grocery store and some restaurants and kind of a home base, but we don't want to be in the hustle and bustle. We don't want what we've had before, and we really want to have that small town feel. And a lot of times we'll go take tours and see houses, and they just fall in love with Rathdrum, Idaho. So I'm going to move myself here a little bit, switch over to satellite so we can see. As you zoom out, you can really see you have Spokane Valley up through the Rathdrum Post Falls Prairie. This whole area is really a big valley. You have Rathdrum Mountain over here, you have the mountains south of Post Falls, and then you have the Coeur d'Alene National Forest that borders Coeur d'Alene and Hayden on the east side, all the way up to Lake Pend Oreille and going up to Sandpoint, the Idaho Panhandle National Forest. So Rathdrum is right here on the northwest kind of quadrant, I would say, of the main metro area. And some of the cool things about it, we'll just get right into the fact that you have Rathdrum Mountain, beautiful backdrop to the town, big old mountain to look at. Most of these homes you'll have a view of it. You have an older downtown drag on Main Street, and some of the really good restaurants that I love is the Westwood Brewing Company, probably the best French dip I've ever had in my life. And Nadine's Kitchen, probably some of the best burritos, Mexican kitchen down on Main Street here. It's only a few blocks long, probably 3 or 4 blocks long, but between Westwood, Nadine's, and Cascadia Pizza is a brand new pizza restaurant that went in right here. You have a cool little center of restaurants that you can kind of go to if you want to get some dinner out, and yeah, they're just great, fantastic places to eat. As you can see, we'll start on the south side of Rathdrum because that's kind of where all the new development is happening. A lot of new construction over off Meyer Road. Whether it's Hallmark Homes, you have Atlas Building Company building some newer, modern, beautiful homes down here. You have Dom Construction. Majestic Park, you have a little kind of planned neighborhood over here where a lot of little t-ball games, softball games happen over here. And also Lancaster is kind of a main thoroughfare that will keep expanding because it connects over to some development in North Hayden. So as you go east on Lancaster, you'll have Crawford Park, you have the Lancaster Market, and this area over here is where we foresee a lot of commercial growth in the future, North Hayden off of Lancaster 95. So you have real quick access over to Hayden, and honestly, if you just continue on Lancaster, it takes you all the way to English Point, kind of the north side of Hayden Lake. So a lot of times people, they want that Hayden Lake life or lake living, and maybe they don't want to be in the price point that Hayden Lake, has you at, because a lot of these neighborhoods over here, your homes in Rimrock Meadows and Deer Meadows, all these areas are going to be in the 1 million plus, and you can get homes over in Rathdrum for a lot lower price point compared to what you get over in Hayden, and still have that access, right? So you can still shoot on over there, over Lancaster. And the other thing, speaking of lake living, when you're in Rathdrum, you have quick access to 3 smaller lakes. If you head kind of west on 53, you have Hauser Lake. This is where my dad lives currently, my dad and stepmom. Hauser Lake, where there's a really awesome, shout out to Embers by the Lake pizza restaurant. You have to take a look and make a trip out here if you visit Coeur d'Alene. It seems like a long drive to go to a wood-fired pizza restaurant, but it is a whole experience. My parents founded that restaurant. There's new owners. They sold it to some awesome people that are continuing the tradition for the last few years. And so, great pizza restaurant here. It's a sneaky lake because not a lot of people know about it and go back in there, and it's not very crowded. So you can go great fishing, good boating, do all the fun stuff back in Hauser Lake. There's a public boat launch and park down here. So that's not too far away from Rathdrum. you head up north of the town center and you hit a couple other lakes. So Twin Lakes Golf Course. If you go back and look at one of our last videos, Lexi and I toured a home right over in here, a beautiful home on 5 acres, brand new construction, off of Scarcello Road. So that's just in the kind of north area of Rathdrum. But Twin Lakes Golf Course, beautiful golf course here. There's a village that has condos, lake access, and it's a skinnier but long lake, and it's connected by a channel here, and then it has a bigger upper lake, so that's why it's called Twin Lakes. And if you continue up Highway 41, you'll hit Spirit Lake and the town of Spirit Lake. Pretty awesome little downtown. Feels like if you go down Main Street in Spirit Lake, it feels like it could be a set to a movie for a little old small town. But Rathdrum, so that's kind of why it's a cool, unique jumping off spot. If you live in this area, you have all those different small lakes you can get to within 15-20 minutes, and you're still close to Post Falls and Coeur d'Alene as well. If I zoom in here, when you come in on Highway 41, you're going to go right past Lakeland High School. That's the main high school, and Lakeland Middle School is right smack dab in the middle. They have a gated community just south called Radiant Lake. It's a man-made lake. You have some waterfront homes here. It's not a boatable lake in terms of motorized boats, but you can paddleboard, kayak, do all that type of boating on Radiant Lake, and some beautiful homes in this area. There is a couple vlogs we've done that have highlighted K-Tech, which is a Kootenai Technical Education campus, and it's a very cool opportunity for high school kids and kids coming out of high school if they're really into technical skills, whether it's auto mechanic, if it's welding, construction, all the different things. They can kind of learn and go to this technical school as well. Let's see if we can just, I wonder if I can jump onto their website. Here we go. Might as well just take a look at it while we're here touring Rathdrum, because it's a pretty cool, unique spot. Looks like priority enrollment will be given to incoming juniors. So it's popular. You gotta apply for it, apply to enroll. Let's check out their brochure. What is K-Tech? Brochure's not giving us much info, but if you have a kid that's really, and I think my internet might be just slowing down. I got two things going at once. Anyways, if you have a kid maybe in middle school or high school and you think that might be cool, reach out. We can get you a ton of information on that K-Tech program. But I also wanted to talk a little bit about the real estate, because that's what we do, right? We're real estate agents, and specifically Rathdrum and how it relates to the other cities in our area in terms of median home price. So Rathdrum is going to be a little lower in terms of median home price sales. It's Post Falls overall, I think right now the price points are the lowest, just because they have, I think, a more amount of volume of production, kind of newer production homes that are like on the lower price points, smaller out in the prairie. But in terms of the kind of big four cities right in this area, whether it's Coeur d'Alene, Hayden, Post Falls, or Rathdrum has the lowest price medium, or second lowest. So as you can see, I'm here in Rathdrum. We have a median home sales price of $505. You can see it's kind of been pretty flat, hovering through the months of 2024 and 2025. There was a spike in February. A lot of times whenever I see a spike like this, there were probably a couple multi-million-dollar homes that were sold in the month of February that just kind of inflated the numbers. So I'd almost throw February out the window. But we're at 505, which seems about right now. Let's see. Let's go to let's go to Coeur d'Alene. If you go to Coeur d'Alene, we've jumped up a little to 652. I'd throw that one out as well, but 589, 567. It's going to be definitely higher in Coeur d'Alene. And then if you go to Hayden, we're looking at 525. So we're a higher price point than Rathdrum, and that's, I mean, there's also, even though a lot of people think of Rathdrum as kind of a lower price point, there are quite a few homes in the Rathdrum area, like the one we showed on our North Idaho Hidden Gems yesterday, or not yesterday, but we videoed it yesterday. It came out before this one. That one's at 1.99 million. So there's a lot of difference between this area, Rathdrum, where there's a lot of production builders. You're going to be in the 450 to 650 price range in a lot of these homes that are going in. Whereas if you get up to the north in this area where there's 5-acre parcels, 10-acre parcels, there's Lone Mountain Estates, a lot of timbered ridge homes being built, a lot of monarch homes being built out here in Garwood as well. They're going to be in the 1 to 2 million range, and they're all going to be on 5 acres. They're all going to be beautiful, newer construction type of homes where you can live in that kind of ranch life, farm life. A lot of people who have horses and pigs or raise goats and chickens and have interest in that type of living are really dialed into this area out here where you're on 5 acres, 10 acres. I would say between Rathdrum and Garwood, and then up north to Athol and Spirit Lake. I mean, you can see all these 5-acre lots out here, and some of them are on kind of prairie land without trees, and real close to them you can have trees. So a lot of different styles, whatever you like, you can find. And we'll just head back down to Rathdrum to focus in on this. Yeah, and I mean, speaking of Rathdrum, I'm going to be here actually today after school. My son's running in the middle school district track tournament here at the middle school, and so I'll be there later today, and it's a real easy commute from Coeur d'Alene. We'll get up there in 25 minutes. Really quick access. If you're looking for the time it might take to get from Rathdrum to Spokane International Airport, if you have a job that you fly a lot and you need to make that commute, I'm going to say you're about a 50-minute drive. From Post Falls, I would say 30 to 40 minutes to the airport on a normal traffic day. Obviously, things can change depending on the time of day you're going there, because we have one freeway that connects I-90 to Spokane. But on just a normal traffic day where there's no traffic jams, I'm going to guess from Rathdrum to the airport you're 50 minutes, maybe an hour. Probably best to shoot for an hour. A lot of times people might want to sneak over there on Highway 53 if you don't want to head on down to I-90 and then cut down maybe over in Liberty Lake. That is another thing to know. But people absolutely love Rathdrum because the proximity to the mountains and the smaller lakes, number one. Number two is that you feel like you're more in a small town feel. So there's not as much traffic, not as much people out and about. A lot more opportunities to find property on acreage that is just real private. And then also people love it just because even though there's not a lot of people, you still have an anchor, a little town that you have all the amenities that you need, and it's really convenient located to get to Hayden, to get to Coeur d'Alene, to get to Post Falls. Highway 41's been upgraded quite a bit. When I was growing up, actually really until 5 years ago, it was a 2-lane highway going both ways. So at night, that Highway 41 would get backed up. At night, a lot of crashes would happen because it was real narrow, not hardly any lights, and so it's real dark. But within the last 5-10 years, it's been improved where it's 2 lanes both ways. There's little railroad tracks that cross through, and you used to have to stop or watch out for the trains as you went up to 41. They built overpasses on all of them, so you just zoom right over it. And it's a really easy drive these days to get up to Rathdrum. Now let's talk about the cons. Some reasons people might not want to live in Rathdrum, and those are real as well. Number one, I would say, is that it just feels a little bit further out from the main area. Whether people want to be in Coeur d'Alene or Post Falls, it is a little bit further drive. It is a little bit small town feel. Some people don't want that real small town feel. They want to have quicker access to Costco, Target, all those kind of bigger stores, where you don't have that in Rathdrum. You got to drive. If you want to go to Costco, it's going to take you about 30 minutes to get from Rathdrum to Costco, which is in north of Coeur d'Alene. Another reason they might not like Rathdrum is just, I would say the schools are a little bit, you don't have as much choice in terms of schools up in the Rathdrum area if you want to drive to like Hayden Canyon Charter or Kid to Coeur d'Alene Charter Academy. There is a STEM academy in Rathdrum that's very highly ranked, but it's very rigorous, is what I've heard. I haven't had a kid go to school there, but the Lakeland levy did not pass last time. They're rerunning it to see if it'll pass this way. So the schools, at least at this moment, don't have quite the funding that the other school districts have. And another reason is just, it's smaller town, right? So if you want to be around more restaurants and activity and things like that, it might not be the spot for you. But other than that, I mean, it's a beautiful place to live. The other thing I would say, cons, if you're really if you hate the sound of trains, and you hate trains for any reason, Rathdrum is probably not the spot for you, because there's a main train track that runs along 53 here. Like if you live close to Hauser, like in the Hollister Hills neighborhood over here, you'll definitely hear the train whistles going quite a bit. And so even in North Post Falls, you'll get a lot of train action, and they're all kind of cutting across the prairie here, if you see my cursor here. And so sometimes we'll be showing houses, and if someone's looking in this area or up right close to Highway 53, and they just are really annoyed by the sound of trains, it's probably not going to be the spot you want to live. However, I've also had clients who just love the sound of trains. It makes them feel like, they're living kind of in the past, and they enjoy it, and they might not want to be right next to it, but hearing a train whistle in the distance does not bother them whatsoever. So those are a couple things to consider when you're looking at moving to Rathdrum, Idaho. There it is on the map. We'll zoom out again. You have great access to water. It's on the aquifer here. This whole area, this whole valley is a giant aquifer, so great water, great access, great amenities, and a lot of different style of homes, whether it's new construction in neighborhoods like planned neighborhoods or acreage living. You got it all, and you're close to nature. You're close to doing fun activities outside, whether it's hiking, biking, and enjoying the little lakes that surround Lakeland up here, or Rathdrum up here. So if you have interest in living in Rathdrum, reach out. I can get even deeper into the details on a phone call or a Zoom call and talk about some listings that are popping up in that area right now, and how they relate to some listings over in Hayden, Coeur d'Alene, or Post Falls. Would be happy to check it out with you, but you got to reach out, call, text, or email us. We'll set you up and game plan on getting you into the right place if you're moving to North Idaho. And until then, don't forget, we have a buyer's guide that we can send over to you, and we can just get you all the information you need. But Rathdrum, Idaho, love it. I'll be there later today watching some track action. So reach out, and until the next video, guys, see you later.